So, guys, I watched the video, the Emerson video, and I'm still gonna post it. So, what I wanted to do was preface that video by letting you guys know my videos are 100%. Well, not 100% now, probably about 97% now. Done in a fashion that I decided I wanted to do because when I started my YouTube channel, I kind of had an advantage. Not necessarily want to consider it an advantage. I kind of had something going for my channel, and I saw one of the things I didn't like about other YouTube channels. I had the advantage that I was already friends with knife makers, and some pretty famous knife makers, Chris and Elliot, and I've since then have met a couple other people. I've met Ramon Chavez. I've talked briefly, very, very briefly, to Brian Nadeau, and I've had some interaction with some other knife makers through Instagram and things like that, John Grimsmo. And what I wanted to do with this channel was to provide, besides just my opinion and my take on things, I wanted to make sure that there was empirical data tied to that. And Chris and I talked about that. He said that's a good plan. That's the way it should. That's the way Jim Skelton does his. There's empirical data. Then there's some opinion thrown in. But that Emerson video that you guys are watching right now is 100% my opinion, because I can't in good conscience, by my opinion, find anything to throw up that I could say is good. I really honestly can't, and I feel bad about it, and I know that there's going to be people that are upset. So this is my little disclaimer before you guys watch this video. If you do not want to watch this video because you're afraid it's going to be offensive, I really didn't get offensive, but there's a chance that there's going to be a lot of people that are unhappy. And I want you to understand, if you like Emerson knives, it's fine. I'm not saying I won't ever sharpen an Emerson knife. I'm not saying that they don't have their place. Most of my opinion and most of my disappointment, I would say, in the market is the fact that they're so highly priced for such little quality. So yeah, I just wanted to throw a disclaimer at the beginning of the video before I even started. I'm getting ready to start that other video, and I realized after I watched that I needed to put a disclaimer at the front. So here's the disclaimer, and now you guys are going to see my business card. Hey guys, I'm going to do something that's kind of out of character for me. I usually like to find good things. I like to get a knife in and look at the knife objectively and all of that, and get, you know, try not to let my opinion so much sully the video. But in this case, it's going to be impossible for me to do, because I said it in the video before, I have no love for Emerson knives. Not at all. And there's a few reasons, we'll get into it. And I really can't tell you anything good about this knife. I really can't, except maybe that the G10 on this is nice and grippy, if it's a G10. Emerson knives, they sell their knives anywhere between, this knife goes anywhere between 140, hang on a second, I brought my iPod out so that I have, yeah, but I'm sorry, 180 to 200 and right around 200, 250 for this model, which is the Emerson Commander. And some people say, oh, maybe you just don't like chisel grinds. That's not the fact. This really isn't even a chisel grind. It's just lazy. If you look, I don't know how clear this can come in. There's a bevel that's set for this to be a V-grind knife. It's the same, the blade is ground the same on both sides. They just didn't sharpen the other side. It's fucking lazy. The action on it feels smooth, but the fact is there's absolutely no detent. It's tip up, and if you were to jump, I wish you could hear it. I mean, that's not, I'm not flipping this like this. That was a straight up and down, and that comes out. There's absolutely zero detent. And there's not really a way to adjust it because it's frame lock in G10. Tell you the truth, I'm looking at it and I don't even see a detent hole. If you wanted the truth, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for see where it drops in, and there's no detent hole. I'm looking for it. I don't see one cut in there. So Okay, I can see it, but it's like there is absolutely, that detent ball does not even drop in there. That detent ball, that detent hole is so minuscule that it really doesn't even drop in. It gives you zero anything. The whole knife is one big hotspot. It really is. They didn't chamfer anything very well. I mean, I just hate them. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like their big fat. And Phillips head screws on a knife. I don't know how many of you guys have ever tried to take apart anything with Phillips head screws. You get maybe once you can take something apart, and that's it. There's no option to adjust the pocket clip, but I mean, you know, that's not uncommon. Sedenza, you can't do that. And my Wii knives, you can't. None of the Fair and Forge knives you can, unless you get one of the what are they? The Wii, the ones that are being made by Wii. I had to drink beer for this because I just had to get myself ready. But you know, you get them, and they're just. I heard it. I figured out where I heard it from. It was on the Knife Nuts podcast. You can tell you've got an Emerson in your hands. If you close your eyes, you pick it up. It feels like somebody put it together with their toes. That's it. Ernie Emerson basically made his bones by coming up with the wave feature, which, I have news for you. You could, I saw CM do it. He put a pin on another knife. You can do it if you've got a Spyderco. You can do it with a zip tie. It's not that big of a feature in the first place. As a matter of fact, I think it's kind of becoming one of those flash in the pan things where who really cares if your knife has a wave feature? What do I need a wave feature for? Because I can use where you pull your knife out of your pocket. Maybe it'll open up when you don't want it to. But I've never had an Emerson in my hands that even really had a fucking detent. They're hazardous. They're not ground. Their blade stock's thin, fairly thin. It does not have, it has, I've been trying to look in here and see, it looks to me like they're either Teflon or Nylotron washers, which the Nylotron washers can be good. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I don't like anything about their marketing strategy, their knife construction, the corners that they cut. If it was, let me put it to you this way, if this was a cold steel knife, it wouldn't make the cut. It would not have left their factory. And I should tell you something, because I have some issues with, I love cold steel knives, but I have some issues with their quality control. And the fact that these knives are $200 something sometimes, or $140, I wouldn't pay $60 for this. This, when you pick this knife up and feel it, you know what it looks like to me is one of those, what are they, M-Techs? That's what it feels like. It feels like an M-Tech that I would be able to get for $10 at a swap meet or a gas station. It really does. There is nothing about this knife that should cost $140, $150, $200 and something dollars. Good news for you. This knife, yes, people complain because it's a Chinese-made knife. This knife is way better than this knife, and it's about the same price. My Wii 601, I think I paid $240 for it. This, if you go with the MSRP, it depends on what website you're looking at with prices and things like that, but you're not too far off in price range between these two knives. This is a really good knife, and it's a piece of crap. Sebenza. I think Sebenzas are like 3 something now. They're not like what they were. They might still be in the 4s, but still, really, they are a world apart. A world apart. This should not be a $140, $180 knife. It's 180. Is that what I said it was? 180. I get so upset. 188, $200 knife, basically what you got here. And there's so many other knives you could get in that price range that are so much better knife. And like, oh, they're built to last. No, they're really not. They are really not. If they're built to last, then they would have used something for construction that if the knife did need to be taken apart or put back together, that you could do it. And these aren't 100% Phillips. These on here look like reed prints. And you heard me talking about reed prints. Reed prints is a solid, clean, tight cross pattern, as opposed to a cross pattern with a hole in the middle, which is a Phillips. And if you If you can't find reed prints anywhere on the internet, look up Ferguson screw. Ferguson is the other name for reed prints, which I think that most people have gone to. But I mean, you're looking at a knife, and let's see what the steel is. 154 cm. 154 cm is not a high-end, super high-end steel that should be costing that much. The Emerson wave-shaped opening or remote pocket opener. In an emergency or injury situation, knife can be opened as it's drawn from the pocket. The handles are G10 epoxy glass laminated over titanium, so it does have a titanium liner and a black pocket clip. But the pocket clip, even on this one, is got no detent, and the pocket clip is a severe hot spot. Like, it sticks into your hand really badly, really badly. I can't get past. You've heard me say that. You guys have heard me say things about cold steel, and everybody thought, oh, you hate cold steel. No, I don't hate cold steel. Compared to this, I love cold steel. As a matter of fact, I do love cold steel. I have a lot of cold steel knives. Don't mistake that. This time, 100%, I'm saying that I cannot stand Emerson knives. Sorry. I'm not even gonna try and find some pluses and minuses. It's not a bad blade shape, I guess, but that whole half-ass chisel, if you're gonna do a chisel, why not just do a zero grind? Or leave this flat on one side, because I got news for you. It is a pain to knock the burr off this when you sharpen one. They're hard to sharpen in the first place. At least they're 154 cm, so they're not severely hard. But I don't get how. I mean, if you could. Let me get behind the camera, and I'm gonna try and point this stuff out. Let me see if I can zoom in it. Let me see if I can get it in focus here. You're not gonna be able to see it. There are so many gaps in areas between the liner and the G10. I can't even tell you how, and looking at it, this knife's been carried, but it has not been hard used. It has some wear marks on it where you can see it did cut some cardboard and stuff, but this has not been a hard used knife. There should be no reason why you're seeing such large gaps between the liner and the scales. Just do not understand at all how these are even on the market. Now I have done it. Now you guys honestly have a reason. Let me open up my growler here. Pour myself a bit. Get out of my. Oh, there's a fly in there. Now you guys have a valid. You guys that are Emerson fanboys have a valid reason to get upset. Because I know this one's going to get some hate and discontent, but I don't want to lie. So if you want to see an Emerson review, find somebody that likes Emerson knives and see if they can find some good pieces, but I cannot find anything good about an Emerson knife. I really can't. I've never had one in my hands that I even remotely liked. And I think that they're overcharging and underdoing, if you know what I mean. It just feels a lot like I'm no fan of Benchmade, but I take a Benchmade any day over an Emerson. Sorry to have ranted and raved about something. I know that this is going to get some. I don't care if this changes my ratio from likes to dislikes. The dislike thumbs. I really don't have very many of them. This video is probably going to get a lot, but I see how it's going to go because I see the cold steel fanboys. Even when I suggested something about cold steel, I can't imagine what it's going to be like when they tell me Ernie Emerson he was an amazing knife designer and stuff like that. My doorbell just rang. Well, now that we have come to the end of that, and like I said, I do not care if I get the negative piece on this one. Every once in a while, you have to do something that you believe in. And I'd hate to see any of you guys that are my subscribers. The guy that sent me this, Ryan, already had the knife. And I do understand people buy them, but I just don't see it. So I'm going to do another video here a little bit later. It's going to have two knives in it. One is that Elliott Williamson full custom fixed blade. This thing is gorgeous. I hate the fact I'm going to have to give it back to Nico today. I have lusted over it and looked at it for the last a week or so. It's gorgeous. But the main reason I wanted to have it was for the video about the difference between Damascus and Damascus steel. I had done it once before, like I said, had to take the video down, so not a big deal. I know where I can get a Damascus steel knife every once in a while. I know a guy. So yeah, that's it. Stick around for that video unless I've completely offended you guys. This is something I feel strongly enough about that I honestly don't care. If I don't like losing subscribers, but something like this, I believe fully about this, that if I lose subscribers, well, so be it. But it has to get out there. I think that they are taking Ernie Emerson being what people think as this genius in the knife world and are forgetting that times change and you cannot continue to do things the way that they were done 20, 30 years ago. So, well, since I'm on that, that's one of the biggest problems I see in the knife world. You look at Blade Show. Does Blade Show even need to exist anymore? No, you don't need Blade Show anymore. Blade Show doesn't need to be around because the fact is, you don't need that for your marketing anymore. To get your stuff out there, social media and things like that it's being stuck in the past. And I heard Brian Nadeau say it. He said that the only reason he goes to Blade is because they have the contest and he wants to get it out there because you get some publicity in the knife world. There are knives that win these contests, with the exception like the custom or the tactical forward, but the production knives, it's an antiquated way of looking at things, and if you've got enough money, you get an award. That Lion Steel, the knife that came out, it's horrible. I have never seen a Lion Steel that was worth much of anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're nice knives, but they shouldn't be winning Knife of the Year. They definitely shouldn't be winning Knife of the Year in a production category. If you got enough money, you're gonna get what you want, and it's unfair to say that, but that's basically the way it seems. So there are things in the knife world that people just need to change the paradigm and change the way they think. Fair & Forge guys, they constantly are changing things, and people look at them and say, oh, there's no way that can be good. And then they get a knife in their hand that's made by those guys, and they're like, oh, holy shit. Why wasn't this on my radar before? And because they're stuck in the old thought processes. Nick Shabazz did a review of the spinner, the Fair & Forge spinner. He loved it. He talked to the guys at Fair & Forge the other day. I was talking to Chris. I said, yeah, we talked to Nick Shabazz. And Nick, if you're watching this, I honestly do owe you an apology for my thinking that you probably were a jerk. But nah, you seem like a really, really good guy in the interactions that we've had. So no, that's basically it. I'm sorry if I've burst anyone's bubble and hurt anyone's feelings on this. I know that the fanboys are probably gonna rant and rave over this, but that's the way it is. I don't like Emerson knives. And so my usually objective reviews and my usual objective videos went out the window because I can't even find anything good about it, except maybe it's not a bad blade shape if you want to pay extra to get it sharpened. All right, guys, that's it. Like I said, there's going to be another video. I have two Fair & Forge knives here. One's the custom and one's something else that a customer wanted sharpened, but I am going to throw it up. So I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you next time.